Okay, so do I need to say my full name? So I'm Grace Tamara Rumsey. I am an actor, voiceover artist, producer, and TV host.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll keep it really simple. We'll start very light. Describe yourself in 5 words.
Dynamic, bold, expressive. How many are those? 3?
3.
Passionate, loving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've been acting since you were 9.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever think that this is something that you would grow out of, or has your passion for acting stayed the same ever since you stepped on a stage?
That's a very good question. The passion has actually stayed. However, that was not the direction I thought I was going to end up in. Definitely, I knew I was destined to be a performer. However, it was not acting that I saw myself venturing into. When I was younger, as much as I did acting, dance was my first love. And for me to merge into music, I felt like being a dancer alone wasn't carrying enough weight. And that's how I thought I was also going to merge into music. I started vocal training as well, but I was never too confident enough whenever it came to actually performing, because I didn't feel I had enough vocal range in order for me to be a successful musician. And it was only in my final year, this was in South Africa, when my speech and drama teacher, Mrs. McQueen, we were rehearsing for the National Arts Festival, and one of the end of year plays that we were doing is where my speech and drama teacher sort of pulled me aside and asked me what I was venturing into or what I was going to study after I graduate. And she's the one person who encouraged me to pursue acting. And though it was something I was already leaning towards already at that time, but yeah, she was the one who just sort of nudged it in. And yeah.
Yes, we're grateful. So, of all the roles you've ever played, which one provided you with the biggest growth opportunity?
Currently, the character I'm playing right now, unfortunately, I cannot disclose character-wise. But when you guys see it next year, you'll definitely understand why. The character range is absolutely amazing. It's given me time to sort of view life from a different perspective as well. So I would say definitely the character that I'm currently playing right now has played a huge part in my growth as an actor. The other one I would say was challenging in a way, but also did give me some room to grow, was the first feature that I did, which I was also one of the producers for, which was Color of Love. The character there as well was very diverse and very different from anything I'd ever played. And you know what it's like when you're playing a series, there's like the constant pace of a character's growth, but there's not much transition in who the character is. So evolving from that and now moving to feature films, I was very excited about that, because that's an avenue I've always wanted to explore, and this time I'm actually doing that.
Okay, so how do you break out of the box of the various roles that you've been cast in? There's a number of similar roles that you have played. So how do you get out of being cast into a stereotypical role? Like when they see a particular character, they're like, oh, let's get Grace Rumsey for this because she's done so many of this kind of character. So how do you diversify?
I'll speak from my experience, which has been a huge challenge on my end, and I would say put a sort of like a block on my career for some time. I chose not to take on any more roles unless they were challenging for me, and unless it was a new avenue for me to explore and showcase range. So generally 3/4 of the time when you're first seen on screen and people love a character you play in our setting, especially in Zambia, that's all everyone sees you as playing. And I've had to turn down so many opportunities because of being stereotyped. Another area for me was, that's how I got into producing, actually. It was by default. Not being able to have different characters to play and given room to explore different characters, it sort of made me step up as well and see that there's a need for me to take control of that, and the only way I can take control is if I myself get into the producer's shoes, and now I'll be able to pick characters that I feel this would be challenging enough for me to see how I can actually grow as an actor, and that's the direction I took.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about production. So what's it been like on the other side of the screen?
Yeah.
How do you get started in becoming a producer? What's the transition process like?
I think identifying your strengths is where it starts from. I mean, taking on leadership roles is not easy. I will express, I mean, doing Zuba season 2, it was literally throwing me into the deep end. And I learned so much. I learned my weaknesses and how I need to improve as a leader, and I identified strengths as well that I shouldn't compromise on as a producer. So it's really challenging when you don't understand or know who you are as an individual or what direction you want to take for yourself. Acting is not something that I'm willing to give up on, and taking on producing was just another way of me still staying in the creative space, because it was either that or you wait for an opportunity to present itself, or you create an opportunity for yourself. So identifying your strengths and different avenues that you can play in the film sector is the best way for you to know which direction you can take, and that's how you can get into producing. So I would say for me, what always brings me back would be remembering why I started and my reasons for getting into this industry. I mean, the challenges were already there in the beginning, so the challenges will never stop. So you always need to take yourself back to understand why did you choose this path? Regardless of the obstacles that were there in the beginning, why should that stop you now? Why should people be your reason for not pressing forward? So that is something that I always take with me.
Okay, so Grace Rumsey has won multiple awards as an actress and producer. Does winning these awards feel the same, or is one more fulfilling than the other? Is it more fulfilling for you to win an award for being a producer or an actress?
Funny thing is, I haven't won as an actress yet. I have been nominated a couple of times. I have been nominated before as an actor, but I've never won. As a producer, I have, and it was absolutely amazing. And the reason being, I was so happy and excited when I did win the award, and humbled, was because that was my stepping stone into producing. And that was off a project that was me taking a chance and seeing if I can actually do this. And there were a lot of people that doubted, and I was the only female producer in that category, and I won. So that gave me and boosted my confidence to another level, and that gave me more ammunition to thrive in this area and explore this area more. As I do a lot of the times procrastinate because I'm a perfectionist. So if certain things are not aligned, I always wait until things are in place, but life doesn't happen that way. So sometimes you just gotta take it by the horns and run with it. And that's how I won that award. However, I would want to win an award for my acting. That is something that will, it will definitely mean a lot to me.
Okay.
So I would say the acting.
And what were you doing when you found out about the 2019 GOMA Award nomination?
What was I doing?
Yeah.
As in...
Where were you? What was the scene? Were you in the room?
Yes.
To hear the nomination?
It's so funny, actually. So the night of the announcements, I remember they were held at what was the name of the Best Western? Mm-hmm. Yes, Best Western Hotel. And there was a cocktail event that took place, and I remember standing next to Selma, and I was whispering in her ear and telling her, I was like, I had submitted, but I really don't think, I submitted for Fever, and I really don't think I would even be considered. And the minute I said that, my name was announced when they brought about. I literally started. I was literally shaking. I was like, oh my God. It was so funny. It was really, really hilarious. But that's how I was actually at the event.
Okay. And what did that mean for your career? Was it validating?
I thought it would be. Mm-hmm. For me as an individual, it was. Mm-hmm. It reaffirmed my journey. Mm-hmm. Because that period I was going through, like I'd mentioned, sometimes you just need to know where to place your value. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people misunderstand me in that way, because when I turn down roles, they take offense. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm looking at building myself as an actor for an international audience. Mm-hmm. So when I look at my show reel, my show reel doesn't have much range. Mm-hmm. So how do I expect a casting director to want to take a chance on me for an international film? Yeah. And there's no diversity. I mean, there is diversity in the character, mm-hmm. but not in multiple characters. Yeah. And for me, that is the area I wanted to grow. I really want to grow in, and is to reach an international audience. So it took a halt on my career for a bit. And now I started wondering if I made the right decision, and I started second guessing my decisions at that point. So this was reassurance for me to say, you got it, girl. You know the direction you're taking. You have something to offer, and you have something unique in yourself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who are some of your influences in the industry, both locally and internationally?
Influences, I would say locally, definitely Becky Ngoma and Jessie Chisi. They've played a huge role in my growth and shaping me as an actor as well, and identifying strengths that I didn't even know I had. Mm-hmm. So for locals, yes. Another person who's also contributed to my influence, especially now because I've become more aggressive now, mm-hmm. is my son. Mm-hmm. And the birth of my son changed and gave me a whole new face and how I view things, how I view life, how I make decisions. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so definitely those three. Motherhood, yeah. And internationally, from a business aspect, it's more from a business aspect, as more on, not really on the creative side, would be in Africa would be Connie Ferguson and Genevieve Najib. Mm-hmm. Those two women are very powerful women. Mm-hmm. And especially when I was getting into producing, that was something that I identified in them, is they got a lot of recognition for their roles, but people only appreciate your work more when they stepped into producing as well. That's one thing that I noticed. Even with international, like globally now, that's another thing that I noticed is a lot of actors, you begin to appreciate their talent and their craft more when they actually start to see characters that they relate with or characters that they would like to explore. With that being said, internationally, definitely Viola Davis, Meryl Streep, Nicole Kidman for me, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Denzel Washington. So those are the people that I look up to, especially for creative inspiration.
Okay. And what movie do you watch for inspiration when you have like a block, a creative block? What do you watch? What is the one movie that you run to and you're like, okay, this definitely gives me my groove back?
For me, it's not really a movie, actually. For me, it's music.
Okay.
Which is very it's not a movie.
What do you listen to?
It's music. I don't know what it is about sorrowful music, but it's very powerful for me. And it takes my mind into like I really go far. And so much comes into play, so many emotions come when I'm in that space. So usually when I have a block, I meditate a bit, and then after that I'll listen to songs that really have deep meaning for me. There was one song by this is so bad, I've forgotten the singer's name. She's a South African singer, and she did this song. The message was how she killed her husband, and she was crying because she's now been taken to prison, and she killed her husband because of domestic violence. And everybody in the compound is tarnishing her and calling her names. Little did they know that she was being abused in her marriage, and now she's crying out and apologizing to her mother that she ended up killing her husband, and that wasn't the intention, but it happened, and this is the reason why. That is the song that I usually play a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you unwind after a long day on set? How do you recharge mentally? What do you do for your mental health?
Oh, for mental health, now this is where movies come in. Yes, that's what I usually do. I love watching a lot of monologues on YouTube from different movies. One of my all-time favorite classics is The Notebook. I am a hopeless romantic, I know. So I love watching that movie. Usually that calms me down. Movies in that range. A Walk to Remember, The Notebook, Love and Basketball. Those are my movies. Aside from that, I love taking walks.
Okay.
Just to spend some time with myself. I really have no direction. I'll just go out and just walk wherever I go, and listen to music at the same time while I'm taking my walks. That's how I usually do it. Another thing that helps me also stay sane is prayer. Yeah, definitely prayer, especially when I'm going on set. Before any character preparations, that's a space that I like to get into first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we as Chena Art Gallery and partners are running an artist residency program. We're getting different artists from different spaces, painters, sculptors, photographers, videographers, all together in one space to create and tell their stories. What do you think about such initiatives? I
think it's a brilliant initiative, especially combining all forms of art. I feel the art that is identified mostly in Zambia would be music and performing arts and film. That's what is appreciated more than sculpting and painting. I still feel there's a lot more growth that needs to be done in those other avenues of fine arts. So this is a great way to sort of combine everyone together, and all groups together and all forms together, to showcase our work, to showcase our creativity and how beautiful this mind is. Yeah.
And our last question, other than your son, what is the one thing that you can't live without?
I was gonna say my son. What is the one thing I can't live without? My phone. I've become so addicted to my phone. It's not even funny. It's so bad. I'm already not a very social person, so it would definitely be my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
That's it already? No, I want more.
Feel free to add anything else that you would like to tell
Actually,
us.
no. No, I think I'm good.
Ooh, you know what we could do?
What?
You could sing for us.
Girl, I can't even sing. I don't have a voice.
You have a song. You sing lullabies.
No.
What's his favorite lullaby?
So I will sing the song that I wrote when I was in grade 7.
Okay.
I think I still remember the melody, guys. You cannot laugh at me, guys. Like,
We will not. Stop laughing, guys.
I cannot believe I'm doing this. Okay. Okay, no, actually no. It is just so embarrassing, really.
Show us your secret talent.
So I really thought I was gonna be a singer, guys. So I used to write, and yeah, that didn't go anywhere. So here goes. Baby, I don't think you're ready. I think that maybe we should go steady, but it's okay. You can call me baby, 'cause I will always be your lady.
That's a wrap.
That was my song. I was so nervous. I'm sure you could hear it in my voice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
It was lovely to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.